Question 16. The diagram shows a lawn with a fence along one edge. So this is a lawn, and that's the fence. 1 can of weed killer covers 70 square meters. Each can costs $19.25. Work out the total cost of the cans of weed killer needed to cover the lawn. So essentially, because it's talking about square meters, this is an area, we need to work out the area of this shape. Okay, hopefully you recognise that this shape is a trapezium. The reason is the trapezium is a four-sided shape, and you've got one pair that's parallel, one pair that's not parallel. So if you've got a four-sided shape where one pair is parallel, one pair non-parallel, it's a trapezium. So I need to work out the area of this trapezium. Now I should know that the area is a half the sum of the parallel sides and times them by the distance between them. Now that means I'm going to do, these are my parallel sides, I need to add them up and half them, times them by the distance between them, which is this fence. And that's where we get to a problem, because we don't know how long that is. So what we need to do is think about the fact that the fence is the same length as this line that I've just drawn, and this then makes a nice right angled triangle. So we could use Pythagoras now to work out this blue line that I've just drawn, and whatever that answer is must be the same for the fence. So with Pythagoras I need two sides, so obviously I'm trying to find that one out, so I don't know that one. This is the side I could work out. So the whole thing is 20, up to the blue line is 12, so 12 add 8 makes 20, so that must be 8 meters. And I'm using Pythagoras, I'm trying to find a shorter side. If I'm trying to find a shorter side, the reason why it's short is because it's the longest side is opposite the right angle, so the either two are short. Then I square the sides, I subtract them, and then I take the square root. So I'm just going to explain to the examiner what I'm doing. So the length of the fence will be 17 squared minus 8 squared, and then take the square root. So I've squared the sides, I've subtracted them, and I've taken the square root. So do this straight into your calculator. I'm going to do the square root of this answer. You should have an A and S button on your calculator. To get to mine, I have to press Shift and then this button here. So get into the habit of using that, because that's quite helpful. I don't want to do that. I want to do the square root of that, so I need to square root my answer. That's quite helpful. It takes the last answer that's in your calculator. So that's 15. And I know it's in meters, because that's all the other units are in meters. So I can label that on there now. So I said at the start of the video that I want to work out the area of this trapezium. Once I know the area, I can then see how many cans of weed killer I'm going to need. So the area is half the sum of the parallel sides. Now the formula is half A plus B, where A and B stand for the parallel sides, and then I need to times them by the distance between them, which is the height, which is the vertical distance. I'm not looking at the 17, you never use this side. So that will be half of the parallel sides, which is 12 at 20, and the distance between them I've just worked out to be 15. So 12 at 20 is 32, half of 32 is 16, so I'm doing 16 times 15, and on my calculator I get 240. So that is my area. So because it's an area, I'm going to say it's the unit squared. And I'm now can look at the next part of the question. So it says 1 can of weed killer covers 90 square meters. So if I divide this by 90, it will tell me how many cans I'm going to need. And that gives me 2.6 recurring. So that's 2 2/3. I'll give that answer because it's more accurate. And obviously I can't buy 2/3 of a can, so I need to round that up to 3 cans. So 1 can costs 19.25. Work out the total cost of cans needed. So I just need to do 3 lots of 19.25. And that gives me 57.75, which is the total cost. Okay, now just going back to this part here, if you've completely forgotten the area of the trapezium, which you might do under exam stress, there is another way. So you could split down the shape a bit like what I've done. So you could say, right, if that's 15 and that's 12, 12 times 15 gives me 180. So this area here is 180 meters squared. You could then work out the area of the triangle, so that's going to be 8 times 15 halved. So 8 times 15, then divide by 2, which is 60. Then adding them together gives me 240. So you could get the answer that way by splitting it down and working out individually.